all the other cases that I've covered, when a deceased person is black, they go over the background of the deceased, and we never learn anything about the person who participated in the unaliving. We never know anything about their background. But this case is totally different. And of course, we can all put together why.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
We're going to start tonight's story with the bond release of Karmelo Anthony. Karmelo Anthony was released on bond today, to the dismay of many of the conservatives.
We're up.
Here he is here being pictured walking along with protection in one of his lawyers.
Why were you armed, sweetheart? Karmelo, why were you armed at school? Explain your self-defense. How is this self-defense?
Ain't that bad, man? We still got dummies that don't know that Karmelo Anthony wasn't at school. He was at a track meet, was about 5 to 10 miles away from the school. And that's just part of the disinformation that I deal with on a daily basis from the knuckleheads in the comment section. How many schools do you know could have 10 different track teams at it for an event?
Excuse me.
No, you like to say?
I had the crowd next to you.
What you're seeing right now is the 17-year-old accused of murder walking out of the Collin County Jail this afternoon after posting bond. Thanks for joining us here at 5 on a Monday. I'm Nicole Baker.
And I'm Doug Dunbar. So let's dive into it. Karmelo Anthony had been in jail since the 2nd of April, accused still today of killing another teenager. That's Austin Metcalf. And that accused killing happened at a track meet at a high school. Today, a judge reduced Anthony's bond from $1 million all the way down to $250,000. J.D. Miles was there for it. He's live for us right now outside the Collin County Jail. Anthony just left. We saw the video. What else do we need to know?
That's right, Doug and Nicole. Just 6 hours or about that much time after a judge lowered his bond, Karmelo Anthony was released. The judge who made the decision warned the accused murderer that if he violates any terms of his probation or tries to leave his home, he will be brought back right here to the Collin County Jail.
Karmelo, do you have anything that you'd like to say to the victim?
Karmelo Anthony emerged from the Collin County Jail 13 days after his arrest for the murder of Austin Metcalf. The high school student had nothing to say as he headed to his parents' home, where he will be confined to an ankle monitor. It's the result of a hearing this morning over whether to lower his bond. The families of both Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf arrived at the Collin County Courthouse this morning with extra security in and around the courtroom. A new defense attorney representing the Frisco teen accused of murder had his client's father testify about his son's character, telling the judge he was a captain of his football and track teams and that he held 2 jobs while in school. He's an A student, said Andrew Anthony. Does he have plans to go to college? Yes, sir.
And prior to this, what was on his mind was what college he was going to go to. This is a tragedy all the way around for both families.
Yeah, we've been dealing with the misinformation of the ignorants who've been discussing Karmelo in very unfavorable terms. And this is kind of weird because when I don't know, it just seems that usually when we have a victim, when we have a perpetrator, they're very supportive of the perpetrator, and we end up knowing more about the victim than anything else. But not in this case. I don't know why that's happened this way. I ended up not knowing anything about Daniel Penny, but I knew everything about Jordan Neely. I didn't know anything about Zimmerman, but I knew everything about Trayvon Martin, all his faults, flaws, issues, even though he was a kid in high school. And in this case, it's the reverse. We don't know anything about Austin, but we know everything about Karmelo. So it's just different. But yeah, 4.0, working a couple jobs, college, captain of 2 teams. Let's keep going.
Anthony, who told Frisco police he stabbed 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a track meet in self-defense after an altercation, sat in a jail jumpsuit and shackles, while prosecutors challenged how the father could not afford the 10% needed for $1 million bond, with an online donation fund that's up to $400,000 and growing. With access to over $400,000, why haven't you bonded him out yet? Asked the prosecutor. We don't have access to that money, replied the father.
It's hard for everybody to be level-headed at a time like this, so that's where we come in. It's our job to be level-headed, to be fact-based, and to follow the truth wherever it leads.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. I didn't understand that particular statement. All I can tell you is that if you have I don't know how USIN works, but the amount that's shown as the total contributed amount may not always come in exactly at the same time as you see it. That's the posted amount, and we don't know how long it takes to do the processing, what have you. But, I've only raised a couple $1,000s to do various things, to attend various political press events. So, yeah, nothing even close to hundreds of thousands of dollars. But even with just a couple grand, it takes time. Let's keep going, folks.
And prosecutors revealed today that Karmelo Anthony was involved in an assault-type altercation at his school on February 4th that was handled internally by the school district. Other than that, he has an unblemished record, which is probably one of the reasons why the judge agreed to lower his bond. Live in McKinney, J.D. Miles, CBS News, Texas.
And remember, guys, Tim Black's been doing this a long time now. When a deceased person is black, they go over the background of the deceased, and we never learn anything about the person who participated in the unaliving. We never know anything about their background. But this case is totally different. And of course, we can all put together why. But at the end of the day, damn it, I wish better choices were made all the way around. I wish this didn't happen. This is not good. And I think I can speak for a lot of people that have common sense that the best outcome of this would have been both kids going home and having dinner. I wish both kids could have just went home and had dinner, and somebody, whether it be Austin's twin Hunter, breaking it up instead of egging it on or participating in it, somebody under the tent, somebody that was there, intervening, maybe somebody from the school, being an adult, because these are both underage kids whose brains are not fully formed, which we forget, Teenagers often make rational, snap decisions based on stimuli, based on emotions. So that's what being a kid is. Not thinking about the full impact of their actions on both sides. These are both kids. And that's why it's so disgusting, man. Some of the rhetoric I'm hearing, we realize it's two children. And one side is treating the other side like the other side is a seasoned, individual. And they're both unwise. I really wish Austin Metcalf, I wish he would have just left Karmelo Anthony alone. I just wish he would have kept his hands to himself and would have left the guy alone, and then none of this happens. And that's what I think. And that's where we are. And that's unfortunate. And if that couldn't happen, I wish Karmelo, though he's in Texas and has no obligation to retreat, that's the law, right? I wish he would have. And I could say I wish he would have retreated, because this life is real. He's taken a life, and I don't think that had to happen. And now he's got his life forever changed. And I'm pretty sure his parents wish that this never happened. So there it is. You can never make everybody happy. There are people that will be angry that I even said that, because they are drunk off of something. I don't know. But one of the things I do want to point out before we go on to the next clip about this story is I've been hearing a lot of talk about people demonizing Karmelo Anthony. And I just got a problem with this because I have a black son. I have 2 black sons and 3 black daughters. And I have a problem with the way they're demonizing Karmelo Anthony and his family with no evidence whatsoever. You know, when they see, it just goes to show you, when they see black and they see white, they attribute a bunch of stereotypes to the black and a bunch of positive traits to the white just automatically. And this is what implicit bias is. It's when you have a bias that's automatic. It's internal. You don't even know you're doing it. You just do it. Case in point. I can't tell you how many people have said that they thought Karmelo Anthony must have come from a single mother and he doesn't have a father. Dad's probably out of the picture. He's, horrible in school and the gangbanger and all types of crazy notions. And that Austin's a Christian kid doing so great and amazing and nothing ever did anything. He helps the old ladies out at the nursing home and he rehabs dogs and cats who are strays and feeds them and clothes them, and his parents have loving home and they got a great life and they just pray to God every 2 hours on the clock. They got a timer that they use to do this. And if none of this would have happened, if Karmelo Anthony's family would have been intact and fully formed like the Metcalfs. And then I ran across this clip.
Had a great hunting trip with me, him, and Austin. And he said, I'm going to come over and see you this weekend. I said, okay, I look forward to it. And he said, I love you, Dad.
Yeah, and when he said that, I quoted his last conversation with his son, which is sad as hell. But when this father said, I spoke to my son on the phone, and we talked about getting together, and he would come over and see me, that's when I said, oh, they don't have an intact family. That coupled with the arrest record I saw for the dad back in 2012 or whatever it was, for abuse or assault or whatever it was, I said, wow, this is amazing. Why isn't this like as popular on the news stations as all the stuff about Jordan Neely and about Trayvon Martin, about Ahmaud Arbery, about Botham Jean, about Breonna Taylor, about all the other, every black person who was deceased in these interactions. Why is this not there? Because it doesn't fit the narrative that they're used to spinning. Doesn't mean dad's a horrible person just because he's not with the mom. Mom could be quite a handful. We have no idea. It is arrest record for abuse or whatever that was, assault. That could be him defending himself. He just couldn't afford a good lawyer because she got the house in the divorce. I have no idea. I don't know these things. But it would be great if I had the resources that we could find out. But you know who does have the resources to track down these stories because they are germane to the public information so that the community and the people are aware? I know all those corporate entities that have big budgets and big staffs. They could send reporters to Frisco, Texas. They could run this down and could find this out. Because research is not one individual doing the research. It's typically teams of people that are paid. I'm not saying this changes your opinion about either one. The facts still got to come out. It's still got to go to court, guys. We don't know anything. And please, guys, reserve your judgment. We got a lot of stuff to happen here. The discovery process is just beginning. Do you realize there are multiple people with footage from that day? And whatever side of the fence that you sit on currently, I hope that you are a human being enough and ethical enough, based on the evidence, based on what we find out, to alter that if need be, depending on what we discover. But we all know, eventually, it won't even come down to that. It'll come down to a jury making those decisions. This is not over by a long shot. We're just getting started. And just like that, the news cycle, it seemed to shift. But the families that this has impacted, I'm pretty sure this is all they know is this. All right, my condolences to the Metcalf family. My condolences, my heart goes out to the family of the Metcalfs. They lost their son. My heart also goes out to the Anthony family, who I'm imagining were more focused with picking out what college Karmelo would attend and not what suit he needs to go to court. So there are no winners. There are no winners, and there's only losers, folks. But don't you be a loser and be online talking a bunch of crap, bunch of racist bile about this story.
Perfect. You made it to the end of the video. I appreciate you. Now, Google thinks this next video is going to be perfect for you. It's right up your alley. So click the next video, watch that with me, and let's keep this politics going. You're built for this.